And finally, we're going to go to our Service tab. This is our service menu, and there's a whole bunch of information you can set up here. Now here you'll see upper and lower set, and right below that you're going to see counts. So these first three settings here are for setting up cycle counting. So what you do here is, and again, you have the hoist position, which is the vertical position of the G-force, and you have to, in order to count cycles, you have to set an envelope within which the G-force will pass through and count cycles. So what you do is you'd move it to an upper point and a lower point that you choose that will be in, so you set an envelope that is within the range of your typical lift for your application, and you'll set the upper and the lower portion of that envelope, and then every time you pass down and back up through that envelope, here in the under counts, you'll see it'll count a cycle every time that envelope is gone through in the down position, and then back in the up position, or the up direction, the down direction, as if you were lifting, setting something down or picking something up and then putting it back down again. So that's how your cycle count works. And then it also counts different events. So how many times you go into slowdown on your virtual limits, how many times you go into overload, how many times you go into an overspeed condition. That's for your float mode. How many times you go into an overspeed in float mode. You can see anytime a virtual limit is exceeded, how many times you loaded the tool or unloaded the tool. You can also see how many times you requested clamp or unclamp here. And then any of those counts can also be zeroed out here with these blue buttons. Now over here you got some system information. You'll see again, this is the position of the G-force, the vertical position. It shows you on time, which is the amount of time that the unit has had power applied to it in hours. And then this is run time, which is the amount of time that the unit has been physically used to lift, either in float mode or run mode, and that is also in hours. And then over here, there's a service warning, and this is an output feature that you can set, and you can have an output kind of like a check engine indicator, where an output would turn off at either 500, 1,000, or 1,500 hours of operation. And then that would turn on an output that you could in turn tie to some sort of a light or output to your MES system to call for maintenance on that. That's what that feature is for. Now you notice on the bottom here on this of the service menu you have this Diagnostics tab that you can transition to. And what this is, you have different indications that you can use for service or maintenance. And you'll notice here you have up and down. So if you're moving up or down in run mode, this will show you which position you're going. So this will turn green if you're going in the up direction, and down if you're moving in the down direction. If you press the float mode button, this will test that, and it'll turn to green if your float mode button is working. And the menu button. So if you press the menu button in it, if you want to test that and see if that's working, that'll turn green. And then this analog signal shows you the up or down percentage of displacement that the handle is in right now. So this actually looks like this handle might need some adjustment because it looks like it's about 32% in the positive. So that would indicate you might need to go in there and adjust it. That should be when the handle, slide handle or any handle is not being used, it should be at 0 unless the operator is displacing a slide handle or a force sensing handle, or it's with a pendant handle, or if somebody's pressing levers, that's when you would see this go either positive for going upwards, positive percentages, or negative percentages for the downward direction. Next over here you have the section where you see upper limits and lower limits. So if you hit your upper limit, that'll turn green. Lower limit, this will turn green. Or if you go into slack, this would turn green. So this will test those switches and functions. And then to the right here, this is all your inputs and outputs. So if your inputs or outputs are active, and this is IO, the PLC is actually the actuator itself. And you'll notice if I hit the down arrow here, I can hit expansion, which is my IO block, or I can go to my handle. Now my handle is the new inputs that we now have on the Q2 at the handle of a Q2 unit. So these would only be available for a Q2, And this is your two inputs and your two outputs. And these were activated, you've activated your inputs, they would turn green. Or if your outputs turned on, those would turn green as well. So it helps you show the status of inputs and output points. And then both your expansion and your PLC or actuator I/O are for a iQ unit. And then we can transition back to the service tab from there.